So there's really two core differences in what you learn in a PhD program compared to almost all programs that are out there. And the two key things that you will learn, I'll just give you them right off the bat, is that it is about research. And this is really different than what you probably thought. And the second thing, you're going to learn a tremendous amount about yourself that you probably never really realized in terms of what you can do and what you can and cannot endure about yourself. So if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward and help you out as much as I possibly can. So the first thing that you will discover when you go into a PhD program, for those of you who are currently not in it, is that it's very much about research. And so it is not a extension of what you already understood. That actually is only a small part of it. And most of it, what you're going to be doing is focused on building knowledge rather than just simply learning about the knowledge. The first year that you're in a PhD program, the first year that you do a PhD, you will probably be learning a little bit more in depth about the material and learning some new things. But in the second year and beyond, you're going to be really doing is thinking about how you can extend it and develop your own thoughts and become a very thoughtful and interesting person and learn how to sort of test that in the world. And so much of the courses, much of the work that you can be doing is actually focused on extending knowledge and thinking about being a curious person. You're much more akin to kind of this wandering, kind of pondering person than you are to being a professional and thinking about how you're extending and becoming a much better practitioner of the particular knowledge. So that's a really important thing that you're going to think about. And so this extends to the second thing that you're going to be going through, because after that second year of almost all PhD programs, so my undergrad was in engineering, and I was going to extend and go and do a PhD in actually polymer science, polymer engineering, but I chose not to do that and I went into business instead. And I did my PhD in strategy and studied things like innovation, and now I study a lot of stuff about entrepreneurship and innovation, and as well as strategy and business. And one thing that you will learn is that it's this long journey when you are investigating different ideas, and you really do have to gain the sense of self. You have to learn how to have confidence in yourself and self-confidence, but as well as have humility in the ideas that you actually have, and realize that almost all the knowledge that we have right now, well, it's really good, and we do understand a lot of stuff. There is a tremendous amount that we don't know, and there's a tremendous amount of problems with what we know. And in fact, if you just simply poke at it a little bit, in almost all areas, you're going to be like, oh my God, we don't know that, and that's how we're understanding it, is looking at it in that particular way. And so then you're going to go wander and think about that thing and try to pursue that particular thing. And then when you do that, you'll realize, like, oh my God, this is really hard. I understand why people only look at it in that particular way. And you will become frustrated and you will lose yourself. You'll really lose who you are. And that is totally normal, where you become a totally different person and you lose faith in yourself. And that's actually the trajectory of almost all graduate students that do any sort of research, including myself. I still feel like I'm doubting myself, that I'm not quite sure, even though I understand a lot of stuff and I can clearly sort of communicate a lot of that stuff, but it's still very difficult to do it. So I want to communicate is that when you get that self-doubt, when you become so very insecure with yourself, you're actually in a really good spot. That means that you are discovering yourself. You're also discovering a lot of knowledge by doing that. And as you lose that confidence in your abilities, that's a strong signal that you're on the right track, because that means that you are actually testing and venturing into things that nobody else knows. So really become confident in yourself that the things that you're doing are actually pretty cool. And as you do that, as you realize, as you become confident in the ambiguity and the uncertainty of it all, you actually become a much better and more interesting person because of it. And I've seen this time and time again. In fact, senior scholars in most fields will be very not as confident as you would imagine they would be. And I think that's a real symptom of this understanding that you don't know that much in this world. And that's a good thing. We really need to have that humility, that humbleness, to realize that we don't know that much. So those are the two things that I think you're going to learn a lot about research, first of all, but then as well as dealing with ambiguity and uncertainty in this world. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care. Bye.